Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having an absolutely beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Justin, and today we are finishing out our album listen of God Bluff with the song The Sleepwalkers, which was released in 1975. Speaking of sleepwalking, have you ever known anyone that's sleptwalk or anything like that? I personally haven't, but I've heard like it's really scary in some ways. It's really interesting in some ways as well, but it's just really scary. I don't know anything about that. I'm very into lucid dreaming and sleep paralysis and that kind of thing because I grew up with all that stuff, and even now I still have a lot of lucid dreams, and I think that dreams are one of the most fascinating things ever. But sleepwalking, that's a whole nother level. That's a whole different level. Anyways, it is about to storm a lot outside, and I hope that my internet or my power doesn't go out. But if the lights suddenly go out, we'll just keep on listening to the song, even if it's in the dark. And then if we have to light a candle or something after, we'll light a candle or something. Whatever we got to do to keep the show going. Hope that you're having a lovely day. Thank you so much for being here. I know I say thank you for being here on every video, but seriously, thank you for being here. Not just you, but you too. Let's get into it. This is The Sleepwalkers by Graaf Generator.
Senses dim in semi-sentience, only wheeling through this plane, only seeing fragmented images, prematurely curtailed by the brain, but breathing, living, knowing, in some measure at least, the soul which roots the matter
let me start off with this. I want you to think back to the first time you heard this song, whether that was 10 minutes ago or, when the album was first released or any time between then. Think about the first time that you heard this song. What did you think? What was your initial reaction to this song? I want to know your reaction to this song, first of all. Because in listening to Van der Graaf Generator, here's my take and what I already know on my first listen of this song. Sleepwalkers is going to be a grower for me. Because at this very moment, I liked it. But I already know that upon repeated listens and given just a little bit of time, a little bit of sun and a little bit of water, this seed is going to blossom and I'm going to love this song. I can already feel it. When I was listening to it, I could tell that there's a lot to absorb, right? And with Van der Graaf Generator, a lot of times, there is just a lot to absorb on a first listen, right? But I can feel that I'm going to absorb it and it's going to plant a seed. And I'm going to come away really, really loving this song. I just don't know how much I'm going to love it, but I know I'm going to love it. Because this song, it's a lot to take in, but everything I took in from it is so good. Lyrics, first of all, are just like, the lyrics are always just at the top of their game. And I love the way that Hamill writes with such measure, and you get the information. You're able to get somewhat of an idea of what he's talking about. He always leaves a little bit of a twist on there, so you're not quite sure. He has a very poetic way of writing the lyrics. And the music, man. I think that everyone in Van der Graaf is just at the top of their game. Van der Graaf may be an underrated band in the overall scheme of bands, But I don't even know who to focus on or what to focus on just because this song has so much good in it. When you're looking at a flower, you don't look at the petals. You just look at the flower as a whole. And so as a whole, I just feel enamored with this track. But let's take a look at those petals. As we get into the rhythm of this song, which I love, it has a very particular bounce to it. But I love the flute here by Jackson.
At night,
There's just something so light and whimsical about this. Like, it almost sets it up like a dark fairy tale with the way that everything's bouncing and you got the flute on there. When you know that the music is going to turn at some point. Isn't Peter's pacing just a joy to listen to? I even feel bad talking over while he's singing, but it's just a pleasure to listen to the way he paces himself. He truly is an artist. He truly puts himself into the music. And this truthfully goes for everybody in the band, but I just feel it from Hamill more so because he's at the front with the singing and the vocals and the lyrics. But he just inserts himself directly into the song, fearlessly, and without any sort of restraint. He's not afraid to let loose himself. And this is so cool. Like, this whole movement right here almost has like a dark circus, evil polka kind of feel. Not evil polka, but like it does have a dark carnival feel, the way it switches it up. And then they switch in this part. Of course, we get that classic Peter snarl. And this is being on a merry-go-round of death. Like, just the way they slip into this. It's like slipping into something more comfortable. And their comfort is an evil merry-go-round. And this is a heavy foot stomping section where what Jackson's doing on the horns almost replaces what a typical band would do in like a guitar solo, right? With organ playing the rhythmic guitar in a sense, and Jackson's leading. Isn't this like so cool to listen to? It's genuinely incomparable to anything else. Van der Graaf are in a certain league of their own. Like, it's not even about ranking bands, here's this band, here's that band. It's not about that, right? It's more like, here's some bands, and then here's Van der Graaf Generator all on their own doing their own thing without a care in the world about who else is doing what. And coming back to this section, it just sounds very like Transylvanian, the way that the organ's being played. Like it's like a haunted mansion. It's like a big old dark and evil castle, like the silhouette of a castle in Transylvania that you see on top of this mountain, and you know there's something going on up there, but it's frightening, you know, to even think of approaching it. But it's some distant castle in the darkness, and then you see a crash of lightning lighting up the silhouette of the castle. Like, that's what I see when I'm hearing this. We're in Dracula's castle. Maybe that's just because I finished watching Castlevania, but I'm in Dracula's castle listening to this. Yeah, that's the way to end the album. That's fantastic. Nobody's sleeping through that. Let's talk about the lyrics, which are so well written, and I'm not even quite sure what the song is about, because I'm sure it's, you know, talking about sleepwalkers, but I'm pretty sure that's also a metaphor for something else, but maybe we'll find out together. At this night, this mindless army, ranks unbroken by dissent, is moved into action, and their pace does not relent. In step with great precision, these dancers of the night advance against the darkness. How placable their might. Eyes undulled by the moon, their arms and legs akimbo, they walk and live, hoping soon to surface from this limbo. Their minds anticipating the dawn of the day, shall never know what's waiting, mere insight away, too far too soon. And then he's talking about the sleepwalkers themselves, how their senses are dimmed, and they're only wheeling through this plane. They're just walking through this reality in a sense. They see fragmented images, but they have some sort of knowledge. You know, he says, but breathing, living, knowing in some measure at least. The soul which roots the matter of both beauty and beast. From what tooth or claw does murder spring? From what flesh and blood does passion? Well, both of these things technically come from the same place. He says, both cut through the air with a pendulum swing in deadly but delicate fashion. I like that, because he acknowledges they both come from the same place, the pendulum, the person. But it's just, which way is that pendulum swinging? Is it swinging to murder or swinging to passion? And I like the lyric where he says, and though I may be dreaming and reality stalls, I only know the meaning of sight, and that's all. And that's nothing. Because if you're thinking about a sleepwalker, they're dreaming, so reality is stalled in a sense. Reality doesn't exist, because their reality is the dream. And he says he only knows the meaning of sight, and that's all, and that's nothing. Because what he's seeing isn't real. You know, it's like when you, if you wake up and you have sleep paralysis. A lot of times if you wake up during sleep paralysis, you'll hallucinate things that aren't really there. Which is why in olden times, they would say it was a demon sitting on your chest or whatever. You know, that's what it was. You were just dreaming, but you're dreaming while you're awake in a sense. And I've gone through that many, many times. To me, it's the coolest thing ever. Like, to see things that aren't, I don't know, I think it's cool. But I definitely kind of get what he's saying here. And then he actually describes the act of sleepwalking when he says, forsake the shelter of their secure beds, awaken to a slumber whose depths they dread, as if the ground they tread would give way beneath the solemn weight of their conception. So now he's actually describing the act of them getting up from their sleep and walking. Now, as I'm reading the lyrics here, I still have no idea if he's actually perhaps using the sleepwalking as a metaphor for something, or if it's strictly just a poetic way of talking about sleepwalking, you know, and perhaps the mysteries of it. But maybe you guys can let me know in the comments below, because I don't see anything either on Wikipedia for this as well. But anyways, hope that you guys enjoyed the music. Hope that you guys enjoyed going through this whole album with me. Thank you for being here as always. And as always, if you did enjoy it, you could like the video, you could share the video, you could subscribe to the channel. You could do a lot of things. But I just hope that one thing you enjoyed was being here for the past few minutes. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye.